none other than Coach Teddy Keaton, head coach of Allen University, HBCU, obviously. So, Coach, I know you're maybe coming on a little bit last minute here, so I appreciate you being flexible and coming on with us.
That's obvious. I'm glad to be on the show. Obviously, I have a long-standing relationship with Coach Chris Williams. He gave me my first opportunity to coach arena football. I'm forever grateful to him. Anything I can do to help him and the show and what you guys are doing is tremendous for HBCU football.
Yeah, Coach.
Absolutely.
We appreciate you coming in here last minute, man. Coach Jackson, excuse me, Jackson. Coach and I go way back, man. We could probably sit here for an hour and tell you the stories of the origins of how we met and where this stuff comes from. But he's always been a guy that got my back, and I like to think he knows that I've got his back too. And so we've been riding this football wave for a long time. But I just wanted to have him come in and talk a little bit about, just piggyback on some of the things we've been talking about for the last couple of weeks. I mean, we've been, obviously putting on this event, want to do some really good things for these HBCU kids and the exposure for these HBCU kids, but kind of wanted to bring in another perspective from a coach, a head coach who is running an HBCU program, and kind of talk to him about that. So, Coach Keaton, I'm just going to ask you first out, man. I mean, we hadn't talked in a while, but tell us a little bit about the program at Allen. How you guys got it rolling?
Well, we're in our going on to our fourth season on the field. COVID would have been my fifth year here. We won 4 games last year. We finished number one in total offense in the SIEC, number 28th in the country in Division Two in total offense. I had 3 receivers that had over 1,000 yards. I had a running back that had 700 and some yards of all-purpose yards. I have a really, really talented team. We're just trying to put it all together to figure out what to do, how to do it, and why it's important for them to do it that way. We're transitioning from NAIA to Division Two. All the staff and everybody that's had a big hand in that. That's a tedious task that everybody has to trek upon to make sure we get where we're trying to go. We have the NCAA in our house, and they're monitoring everything that we do. But I feel like we have the program on the right track. It's headed in the right direction. The players are doing their best this spring. As spring is upon us right now, we're in day 12 of our practices, and they're really responding. I had almost 98% of the team that return, so that always lands for good things. I'm just trying to get through this spring semester when those grades come out, and hopefully everybody's still on the bus by that time.
Nice, Coach. I mean, I think not I think, but I know you got yourself a really good quarterback. I was keeping up with kind of his statistics and things. He's still on the right track.
Yes, he is. He's doing a remarkable job. I mean, he's a guy to keep an eye on. He is. I think he was the fourth best quarterback in HBCU football. He threw for like 28, almost right at 3,000 yards, and he was a true freshman coming out of high school down in Tampa Tech, Tampa Bay, Florida. He reminds you of Kyler Murray,
Yeah.
or kind of. I even like to compare him to Bryce Young. His ability to float in the pocket and be able to find ways to throw the ball. And he got an arm strength of Russell Wilson. He sit yesterday in practice, he was in the morning, he hit a 60-yard bomb, and he was standing flat footed. And I just couldn't do nothing but smile. I mean, it's hard to cover a guy who wants to throw the ball.
Yeah, absolutely. What's his name, Coach?
His name is David Wright the third.
Yeah. I remember looking at him, and yeah, he got yourself a good one. And you said he's a sophomore coming up, right?
The sophomore coming up.
Yeah. So you're gonna have him for a while. That's gonna be a good thing, man. I guess I got to ask you, kind of the theme of what we've been doing, but what's your take on HBCU ball and kind of what's happening with this new resurgence of guys getting looks and compared to where it's been for the last few years?
I think it's awesome. There's a lot of hidden gems in HBCU football. As you know, Coach Williams, as we was coaching arena football, I brought a lot of guys with me that were really talented football players, and over the years, people have overlooked them, really have not gave them the chance or discredit the quality of football that they were playing. I think now with the transfer portal and the different things, you may go find 5 or 6 guys that are hidden gem. I know at Miles, we had the running back to transfer from Michigan. He was a really, really good football player. I think you guys spoke on him a couple of days ago. He's really, really good. I think there's some awesome guys that's hidden in some of these programs that really people are really not coming to give it a chance. But nowadays they're showing up, they're calling, they're in our huddle, they're watching practice film. I got a couple guys. I got 3 linemen that's 6'5" and one that's 6'7". And everybody's been looking at them, but they're just freshmen and sophomores, and they just don't have room to grow. And then I got a real great defensive end that transferred from me from Mississippi State. He's from Calera, Alabama, and he's 6'5". Harry Thompson Jr. This is his senior year, so everybody got their eyes on him. He's 6'5" and a half. He's about 245, 250. He plays the defensive end. He, at Mississippi State, he played in the 34. So we kind of transitioned to the 34 this year just so we can help him get a better look at what he's doing.
Yeah, that's right. Coach, do you think the league is listening? I know Coach Sanders a couple of weeks ago was kind of upset that all the teams didn't come to his pro day. But then on the flip side of that, Florida A&M, had almost, I guess they might have had 28. They were only missing 4 teams at theirs. So do you think the league is listening to what we're trying to get them to see?
Absolutely. I mean, at one time, they would only send one guy. I know when I was the head coach of Stillman, they'll send 1 or 2 guys over. But the great part about it is if all 32 teams show up, that's really excellent. But the data is transferred through everybody. So it goes through hands and hands. So if only one team showed up, you got somebody to look at, and they're going to put the numbers into the system, and somebody's going to see it. And then they're going to call you back and say, can we get a more exclusive workout with this guy? I want to interview him one-on-one. They've got now with Zoom and Skype and all these different things that's out there. There's ways to see kids, and I think the NFL done a tremendous job to respond to what the talent that we have there.
Mm-hmm. That's right. I think you're right about that. I think sometimes you may just not get every team at every pro day, but if you got some good, I thought, and I know what he's doing. I mean, he wants to make sure that people understand that they're gonna have to be looking at this a few years from now once we start getting these high school kids in. So I get what he's doing. But at the same time, on the football piece of it, I mean, he had 22 teams there, I think, and I think that just varies from team to team. But as far as he's concerned, I mean, and some of these other guys, Hugh Jackson, and have you had a chance to have much interaction with that group of HBCU head coaches and how you
No,
feel about what they bring?
No, I'm kind of like Belichick. I kind of stay to myself. I really cool with a lot of people. If they come to me, I will. But I want to take it backwards. I think that they need to do a better job of paying homage to HBCU football prior to integration. There were a lot of guys that played in the NFL way before Deion Sanders showed up or anybody else showed up. I think that they're not giving the credit to what was there. I think Deion just gave us a platform to be able to put it on stage and say that here it is. And I don't want to say that with no disrespect. I think what Dion has brought to HBCU football has been more than a voice, and we
Mm-hmm.
appreciate that. But I think there was HBCU football long before that, and prior to integration, a lot of the great players that played there before that time, there were a lot of them. And Dion is attracting a different type of player at Jackson State now that it kind of unevens the playing field
Mm-hmm.
with the facilities, the different things he's getting, the 5 stars that he's recruiting. It kind of puts it on blast to be able to say, hey, we need to do better as an organization to be able to give our kids an opportunity to give them a choice to want to come to us.
Right, right. I mean, what is that? How's that transfer portal playing into what's happening with some of those guys coming over?
I think it's helped a lot of places like myself, a small HBCU. It's helped us find guys to be immediate fit. I'm not a truly total fan of of the transfer portal. I feel like if I can find a guy that's got proven, he's been on the field somewhere. Most of the guys that's in the transfer portal hopped in the transfer portal because they couldn't play somewhere else.
Yeah.
Some guys that can play, they already been auctioned off and traded between the teams that could play. Take for instance the quarterback that went from Oklahoma to University of South Carolina, from the one that went from somewhere else to USC over in California. Those guys have already been auctioned off. So the guys that are really in there are not your typical. They're trying to prove or find a place to play, and they probably made a piss poor decision when they decided to go to college. That if I was trying to get into the University of Alabama and they got 12 running backs already there, and a couple of other schools didn't have a running back, but I just wanted to go to the University of Alabama because it sounds better. I chose that route, and then I got there and figured out that I might not play 4 years because there's a couple guys ahead of me. Those guys jump in the portal so they can go find a better place that they may have a chance to go play at.
Right. That makes a lot of sense, Coach. I get that. A lot of sense. You know what? But I guess before I ask you, I'm gonna put you on the spot and talk a little bit about these quarterbacks. But I'm gonna ask Jackson. You got anything for Coach Keaton?
Absolutely, absolutely, Coach Keaton. One thing that I love about HBCUs and I guess small college football programs in particular is that it's not like Texas where you have a Ferrari on the field during recruiting visits or like Florida with these flashy outfits. Man, it's just you got to sell yourself on your actual substance. There's no fluff. There's nothing else. Coach, what's your recruiting pitch to guys of why they should come play for you at Allen?
Well, it's mostly about me. You're the salesman. Every day you're asking yourself, what are you selling? If you continue to produce good guys and they see that, and you got good programs and people can see those things visibly, they'll come to you. A lot of times when you play at these unknown schools like Brown, and it's not just HBCUs, there's a lot of PWIs that have unknown schools. The coach has to sell his program on what he's doing, and his players got to speak volumes of him. I've learned over the years that you have to treat the players with they're your walking billboard. You got to treat them with a certain degree of respect, and we talk more about getting an education, but obviously a kid who wants to continue his playing career has higher goals to want to go and do something else. I really miss the days of arena football when it was very prevalent because there was an opportunity to sell a kid another opportunity or a dream.
Yep.
Coach Williams would tell you that there's a lot of kids that played way past the time they should have been playing. They should have had a job by that time, but you can't tell a kid when to put a timestamp on when he was done with playing football because we all know that's the hardest transition, even as coaches. When is it time to give it up? When are you running a program in the ground? When have you ran your body out? Try telling that to the quarterback, Tom Brady, right now that he's too old to play football, and he'll prove you differently.